Hello and welcome to the Prompted Mind podcast. This is my little corner on the internet where I talk about all things AI, and today I would like to discuss the shift that AI is making. Because let's be honest, we don't want any more workflow optimization. The world wants an AI companion. Because I'll admit it, I did it too, like millions. I found myself pouring my most intimate thoughts from my diary in ChatGPT on a random Tuesday in January. And the chatbot was in that moment my perfect listener. AI filled a void. But honestly, I am convinced that this can be our downfall because think about it. Will AI dependency be our next health crisis? Because hear me out, we are more connected than ever, yet paradoxically, we feel more alone. Because the ping of a notification replaces a heartfelt conversation, and hearts on our curated Insta feeds offer an illusion of connection, even though it leaves us strangely hollow. And artificial intelligence, our little chameleon, is becoming our digital shoulder to cry on. It mirrors our emotional landscape, reflecting back a perfectly tailored version of understanding. But unfortunately, this is a trick of probability and code. But to our eager minds, it feels like our perfect partner. And the cold, hard data even confirms it. OpenAI itself notes a seismic shift. Users search solicited life advice, coaching, and emotional support from AI. And the voice mode conversations stretch up into the late hours. We confess breakups, seek pep talks before presentations, and yes, sometimes even unpack the baggage of our past. So, what is AI becoming? Well, the tech giants are chasing efficiency, but something far more profound is happening in millions of quiet corners on the internet. And while people like Sam Altman, CEO at OpenAI, envision a world streamlined by hyper efficient workflows, the masses want something far more unsettling. We are collectively longing for an online AI-bestie. Because hear me out, OpenAI built the ultimate automation engine, a tireless coder, a memo writer, a research assistant, designed to make businesses faster and more productive. And yes, those ambitions have been largely materialized. As of August 2025, OpenAI's ChatGPT service is estimated to have 700 million weekly active users, with about almost 200 million daily active users, according to industry trackers like Demand Sage. And here's a fun fact: ChatGPT processes around 2.5 billion prompts a day. But there's a downside to it, because a 2025 Stanford Carnegie Mellon paper surveying over 1,000 AI companion users also found that individuals with a smaller social network were more likely to use chatbots for companionship. And while they felt supported in the short term, intensive self-disclosing use was also associated with lower well-being, especially when the real-world support was lacking. The paper concluded that emotionally meaningful as these interactions are, they cannot fully substitute for human relationships and may even foster sycophantic or overdependent behaviors in people. And we are not alone in this intimate digital embrace with AI. A 2025 study cited by Talent LMS found that 46% of Gen Z workers get better guidance from AI than from their managers. And another almost 50% would rather ask a bot than a colleague. And by 2025, Harvard Business Review reported that therapy and companionship had overtaken productivity as the top use cases for generative AI. And this makes me think, because how many times have you sat in front of the blank agent mode screen in ChatGPT, not knowing what to ask for, what to automate, what to streamline? It's not only because we don't have the knowledge on efficient generative AI, it's also that we crave something different from it than what it was designed for, and that is to be understood. Because let's be honest, since 2025, humanity starts asking for something else entirely. We could be crafting prompts for complex automation, but instead we are whispering our deepest anxieties into a computer. We want urgent feedback on, does he still love me, or is this text okay to send? But that's the thing with innovation and technology. Sometimes you don't know what you are working on. For example, think of Facebook. When it was born in 2004, it was nothing more than a campus tool, a digital Facebook for Harvard students to see and connect with each other. It was small, intimate, almost innocent in its design. But campus by campus, then country by country, it spilled into the world. And what started as a student directory morphed into the place where billions of humans share their lives, scroll the news, run businesses, and even fight over politics. That's the story of innovation. We build with what we have in intention. But once it escapes into the wild, it bends to users, markets, and forces we cannot predict. The real impact is in the transformation no one sees coming. And the same thing is now exactly happening with AI. So, in this quest for AI efficiency, we stumbled upon intimacy. It's practically irresistible. I'm sorry, Sam, the world doesn't want automation, it wants connection. Because in this digital age, we crave an ear that listens without judgment, responds instantly, and never tires. And this is why the AI companion market has exploded. Because according to TechCrunch, by mid 2025, there were 337 revenue generating companion AI apps with a combined 220 million downloads. Roughly 17% of them even include the word girlfriend in their name. Industry trackers like Demand Sage estimate that, for example, Character AI has over 20 million monthly active users, with roughly two-thirds of them being aged between 18 and 24. And Replica, another popular companion service, has been downloaded over 30 million times and is reported to generate around $63 million in annual revenue. The thing that haunts me in my dreams is that these apps are built by commercial companies. And let's be honest, AI legislation is still up for the grabs. Because even here, when the EU is rolling out its landmark, the AI Act, big tech pushed back. Meta is still refusing to sign the voluntary pledge to comply to it. And while all this was happening, Reuters revealed recently that internal Meta policy documents once allowed AI chatbots to engage in romantic or sensual interactions with minors, including children, on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. According to Reuters, these rules, approved by Meta's legal, policy, and engineering teams, permitted chatbots to flirt or engage in romantic roleplay with users underage. Although Meta has since removed or revised many of these examples and pledged new safeguards, such as restricting teen access to certain characters and training models not to engage in sexual or romantic contact with minors, critics argue that enforcement remains inconsistent. So that leaves an important question, because why do we have this magnetic pull to a computer? We as humans are programmed to anthropomorphize. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's all about us attributing human traits to anything that vaguely resembles us. A 2024 paper presented at the ACM Fact Conference noted that the chatbots deliberately employ personal pronouns and affirming language to induce trust. They create a pseudo-interactive space where we as humans quite unconsciously project social roles onto them, experiencing the illusion of reciprocal engagement. So this is what we're doing. We are making AI human. And this is not new science. Psychologists have understood this dynamic for decades. The media equation theory even states that we unconsciously apply social rules to computers, like treating technology as if it was human. And it goes even further. When we are adding a voice, an avatar, or even empathetic language, it heightens our emotional engagement and trust. So when a chatbot smiles with an emoji or it mirrors our language, we feel seen, understood, validated. And anthropomorphic design isn't just user-friendly, it's profoundly psychologically sticky. It creates parasocial relationships, those one-sided emotional bonds originally observed between fans and celebrities. But with AI, the potential for an even deeper, more complex entanglement is magnified. Because especially the voice interfaces chillingly amplify this effect. A joint study by OpenAI and the MIT Media Lab found that the voice interaction initially reduced loneliness, but heavy users, the top 10%, later reported that greater loneliness and dependence on the AI affected them. AI is a perfect listener, it seems, but it also can mask isolation rather than solve it. And this is perhaps the most scariest thing about it, because Forbes columnists have already warned that AI companions can slip into psychophancy, reinforcing users' existing beliefs and creating digital echo chambers effects. And that is perhaps the most scariest thing about this. The AI doesn't know what it's echoing. It doesn't understand the emotional layers behind language. And psychology today has even highlighted the risk of empathy entropy. It's a weakening of our social muscles that we require for real human connection. If our primary interactions are always agreeable with an AI. And here's the sad paradox: AI is our perfect listener because it never challenges us, it never disagrees with us, it never even brings its own vulnerability to the table. But that's the thing, it offers us a hollow perfection. It cannot teach us how to tolerate discomfort or navigate compromise or experience the profound reciprocity that makes human relationships so rich and growth inducing. So, this is very complex, and I'm not here to demonize these tools. In fact, I am one of the biggest cheerleaders for AI that can meet us in our most human state. Used wisely, companion like AIs can be therapeutic. They can bridge people with his social anxiety, or they can be a late night outlet for someone who's navigating grief, or they can be the supportive co pilot for those who have no access to therapy. But the danger isn't in the tool itself, it's how mindful we are of how we use it. And the thing is, the market for AI companions is not slowing down. The massive downloads are a testament to our collective yearning. And where there is demand, there also has to be offer. And even the mainstream giants are diving in now because Meta had a 2023 rollout for 28 AI personas on Instagram and Facebook. They had Liv, the attentive listener, and it was almost an early, if not clumsy, experiment. But Meta still encourages us users to create our own AI loyal bestie or a relationship coach within Instagram. Big tech, it seems, sees our loneliness not as a crisis, but as a boundless growth market. Another AI study on companionship surveyed nearly 3,000 US adults and reported that almost 20% of the respondents had used an AI chatbot designed to simulate a romantic partner. And more than 1 in 4 young adults had done so. Almost half of those users said the AI was easier to talk to or a better listener than a human partner. And 31% felt that the AI understood them better than the people did. But the red flags are just as clear. Frequent engagement with romantic AI was linked to higher depressive symptoms and lower life satisfaction. So, do we really need an AI boyfriend, an AI girlfriend, or an AI bestie? Because AI cannot reciprocate. It cannot truly understand in the way another conscious being can. It cannot share its own vulnerability. It cannot offer an unexpected hug or a laugh or a shared memory. The perfect listener by itself is very incomplete. And I know, don't get me wrong, AI tools can offer care, encouragement, creativity, and comfort. In my own mental health and well being journey, I have leaned into creative prompts, journaling, and voice reflection with ChatGPT. And they have helped me noticing patterns in my thinking, opening up in ways I couldn't face to face, and simply feel less alone. These technologies can bring out our most human sides, our longing to connect, to be seen, and to explore healing. But they are not a replacement for humans, and using them well means knowing when to lean in and when to lean back. So, this is not a call to abandon those incredible tools, quite the opposite. This is an urgent plea to use AI in a responsible way. Conscious engagement. Let ChatGPT be your co pilot for a DIY project in your home, or your brainstorming partner for your pitch deck, or even a gentle mirror for your thoughts. But then put down the app and pick up the phone. Schedule that coffee. Look a friend in the eye and hug one another. Yes, lean into those glorious, messy, often inconvenient connections that only human relationships can offer us. Nurture the connections that truly feed your nervous system, that challenge you, that make you grow. Because if we don't, if we let the machine that was designed to write our emails become the only voice that truly speaks to us, we risk far more than just our well being. The question that will define the coming years isn't whether AI can replace human relationships, it's whether if we let it. So, this was my take on where the evolution of AI is going and what we can expect for the upcoming months. And I am very curious what your take on this is. So, let's have a chat, reach out in my DMs, and we'll talk soon.